Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. And a few days ago, I started doing a little series of covering some recently acquired Archie Digest Comics. Now I'm going to do another little batch here just for a few minutes. And please excuse the stuffiness, the stuffy sounding, and the occasional sniffing. I just had a sneezing fit a few minutes ago. So, yeah, so we're going to talk about some Archie again. But before we do that, remember, if you have certain characters that you like, Archie Comics from Archie Comics or other comics, Marvel Comics, DC comic characters, from comic strips, comic books, science fiction, Star Trek, Star Wars, etc., cartoons, I can do them for you at a very reasonable price. They will make really nice gifts for your friends or family members. And just contact me here at this email address. Okay, here we have Archie's Double Digest number 125. These are from 2001. With this Stan Goldberg, Bob Smith cover. Has Miss Grundy, kind of grouchy look on her face, talking to Archie in the middle of a test. The true-false exam, a little difficult for you, Archie, there? With these flipping a coin to decide what his answers will be. Notice at this time they were still having the comics code on their books. Nobody does anymore, but I think the Comics Code Authority is completely gone. It has this lead story, which is, of course, the lead story is usually the one that was done specifically for this issue. So this is Archie. Picture this. Written by Bill Gallagher with pencils by Tim Kennedy and inks by Rudy Lappick. And some nice regular nice Archie artwork. Little funny bits. There's some moose. These first ones are pretty contemporaneous with that lead story. Probably the latter part of the 90s. Some funny stuff going on here. What else we got? This is Archie, Lost and Found. It's just a nice one here. A lot of detail because there's a lot of clutter in the room, but it's just a little more detailed than what we usually get for Archie. Oh, there's an ad from the pages of Archie Comics. And some Betty and Veronica action figures. Oh, that'd be cool. But I wanted to point this out in both here in this Archie gag bag, and you also see it to some extent over here in the splash panel of this other story. These are from a few years before, but notice that the inking is a little heavier, but it has more greater variety of thick and thin lines, which you can really see here in Archie's face, which helps make the whole image a little more visually interesting. Like you can see it over here in this one too, in Archie's arm. and the other stuff. And that's the way I really like to see it. It just makes all the line work, makes everything look just a little more visually interesting. Oh, and this has got some Cheryl Blossom in it, and she's doing some sneaky stuff. Toe to toe. And things. That was an ad for Betty Digest. Oh, this was an interesting. The Big Pitch Part 1. And this is a more interesting, more adventurous type story, and in stuff happens, and Archie actually instead of being the big klutz that he always is he uses his sports skills, and he actually saves a busload of people. So Archie winds up being a hero. Yay, Archie! And this goes back to the 70s, I think, possibly even the 60s. This Archie, I'd say 70s. Where Richie looks there. A little lighter on the lighter side of this one, and some other ones are in the back. Help, and a helping hand. Oh, this is a nice one. Archie into the Riverdale Triangle, and I think this story was also in one of the other digest books that I had. Maybe I'm thinking something else. This is an interesting story, and I gotta read this one. I've read another one of this. It's one of the adventurous stories when the Hiram Lodge, and Archie's dad, and a bunch of the kids are going out on the Lodge's yacht, and they wind up in the Riverdale Triangle. And they're lost in a world of dinosaurs and stuff. Weird stuff. Neat stuff. That's enough for that one. Then Archie's Double Digest. This is also from 2001. This is number 122. This one was 125. And because a lot of these, they go way back to the 50s sometimes. There's that one. Some nice artwork. They'll have nice artwork. This one is Mike Pawlowski wrote it, and run by Fernando Ruiz in the lead story. Sheer Gratitude. This is a 70s one with Roy Reggie looks there, and Archie and the Collector. And lots of detail because there's in the background and foreground in this, just because of this. And Hiram Lodge is a collector. Doesn't have the artists here, but is it? Could be Dan DeCarlo. I can't be sure. But I was thinking Rex Lindsay, but maybe not. I really like Rex Lindsay. Lex Lindsay. That's funny. And, well, here I have some more of these about Know Your Heroes. We'll do some of those. And this is Archie's Double Digest, number 121. So this is actually the earliest one of those three. These are all from 2003. Correction, 2001. Fernando Ruiz art on this lead story with Bill Gallagher. And Archie, this is cover by Stan Goldberg and John D'Agostino. Archie's gotten in trouble, so I will not be distracted writing it on the chalkboard many times. And of course, he's distracted in the process there, and all the pretty girls. Someone did the games in here, so connect the dots of Jughead, and previous owner of this book has already done that. And I think there's also another game that was filled out. Another page of Learn to Draw Archie, which is had in one of the other books in previous episodes. This goes back to the early to mid 60s when Veronica had shorter hair. Those are always fun. But they had nice, clean, crisp line work. And even though they may not have had as much detail in the background as some of the more modern artists have been doing. Little Archie stories. Bob Bowling did a lot of those. As I said before, Bob Bowling did a lot of the Little Archie stories, and writing, created the character, a version of the character. He was so good at doing the young kids, which carried over to some of the other work that he did. And I guess he even had to have kind of when they stopped doing the Little Archie stories, and he was doing the grown-up Archie stories. He had to have a little bit of a remedial Archie training to relearn how to draw the grown-up characters a little bit. And then here we have Betty and Veronica, number 102, Double Digest. This one's from 2002. This is with Jeff Schultz and Henry Scarpelli did the cover. I said, but when you said double recipe, I thought you meant the temperature too. Oh, Veronica, not always the brightest. This is the lead story here. Betty and Veronica, perfect specimen with Kathleen Webb. Hey, it's good to see a woman involved in this. Kathleen Webb wrote it with pencils by Bob Bowling, who I was just talking about. And I like Bob Bowling's work, and I was looking through this a little bit ago, and yeah, I like his work on these characters. I kind of really like the way he draws strong Betty there. Yeah. And Love Showdown. I've got that somewhere. I ought to cover it sometime. Betty's Fashions. Betty and Veronica, the Slippers. This goes back to the 60s, I think. Always covering many decades here. Oh, this one's nice. I really like this artwork. A Date to Remember. This is from Betty's Diary. And I don't know who's doing that. I like it, though. This must have been from the mid-90s, I think. I used to get several of the Betty's Diaries. And Betty in Kickstick. I used to get Betty's Diary. So, that's some nice fashion stuff with Veronica. And a Veronica story here. Oh, it's Betty and Veronica. Little Jinx and Little Betty and Veronica coming up here. Little Betty. Oh, even there they're showing them as roughhousing little kids. And it's Archie and Reggie fighting. Little Betty and Veronica, they're probably fighting over the girls. Even then, they were fighting over the girls. This wouldn't have been Bob Bowling. They're more grown up. This looks like probably early mid 80s. Voices of Change. Betty and Veronica, and How to Draw Veronica. Oh, it's got a Sabrina story. I always like the Sabrina stories. This is definitely from the 70s with the way the Aunt Hilda and Zelda work there. And that's what I'm covering this time with these 4 books of Archie's Double Digest. Just some good, clean fun. And I still ran longer than I intended to. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I really like it if you leave comments. Like the comments. To leave comments. So thank you very much for joining me. And remember, comics are art.